What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto and Dean Thomas here to wrap up UFC 283. We're here in the ESPN studios, so we figured I got a few questions for you, Dean, on UFC 283. My first question is about Gilbert Burns and his victory tonight. I think the two most likely fights for him are Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington. Which is the better fight? Which is the fight you would prefer to see? Gilbert Burns versus Jorge or Colby?
I would prefer to see him and Jorge. I think that is more likely to happen. However, I think he beats both guys, but I think the fight with Jorge is more likely to happen, and I think there would be a little bit more drama in terms of, these guys are both South Florida guys right now, so, I would love to see that fight happen.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with them, but I'm with you. I hope it's the Jorge Masvidal fight. What should have happened in the Lauren Murphy fight? You saw Jessica Andrade land 231 significant strikes on Lauren Murphy. She really wasn't too competitive in it. A lot of people saying that the fight should have been stopped. Whose responsibility does that fall to? What should have happened in that fight?
Well, listen, everybody always blames the corner, but the referee's job is to really save the fighter if the fighter's not responding. If the fighter's not responding and the referee feels they're not fit to fight, it's the referee's job to stop the fight. So if Lauren Murphy's corner, who knows her best, thought that she still had an opportunity in that fight, I side with the corner. I will always side with the corner because they know their fighter best. It's easy from the outside and say, hey, they should have stopped the fight, but you don't know that fighter like they do.
Yeah, I respect you for saying that because I think the majority of people are out there calling that was a travesty and that they should have stopped it. But you saying, and I know that your opinion carries a lot of weight, that you trust the corner to make it right.
I mean, what is the ref for?
Yeah.
What's the ref for? To tell them to stop grabbing the fence? No, the ref is there if they're not defending themselves properly. The ref is there to stop the fight. Leave the job to the ref.
Yep. Next question. Davison Figueiredo says he's going to 135. What's the most fun fight you can make with Davison Figueiredo at 135?
I mean, 135 is already stacked, and there are so many fights that you could make for him. But I think you bring him in like Marab, Peter Yan. I would love to see him and Peter Yan.
Yeah.
Honestly, him and Peter Yan would be an absolute barn burner. So to me, I would put that fight together.
I don't think it's going to happen first, but I would love to see this guy fight Marlon Vera at some point. Chito Vera versus Davison Figueiredo. I think that would be a very, very fun.
I mean, there's so many fights for
there really are,
at
though.
135.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, I think he's disappointed, of course, that he didn't win the belt back, but 135 with Figueiredo. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about there. Jamal Hill, what is his ceiling here? I mean, we're all impressed by his performance, but we've been talking about this tonight. Will there be still doubts kind of going around this guy? Because of the manner in which his UFC title shot came, he didn't have to beat 2, 3, 4, 5. Now he's going to have to fight those guys. Is he going to be doubted moving forward, and how does he match up with those guys?
Well, I doubted him right before the Jimmy Crute fight. And then after he knocked him out, he came back, he sought me out and was like, listen, don't ever doubt me again. And since then, I've never doubted him again. I picked him to win this fight. He did it. He didn't knock Glover out, but he won the fight, won it convincingly. I don't know what his ceiling is. I think there are some tough challenges for him, but he's getting better. And he has a confidence about him that it seems to be unshakable, unbreakable. I'm really looking forward to seeing what his ceiling is. Who knows? I mean, he's done everything that he said he would do.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. Everybody says one thing, and then they come out and do something different. He's done everything he said he would do and more. He's won a title before anyone else. He's the first contender series guy to win a title. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. He's shown that he's a winner, man. I mean, in this sport, there's so many pitfalls. There's so many different challenges. This fight came up on short notice. He had to accelerate his camp, and he still looked great against Glover Teixeira. Okay, the final one is about UFC 284, actually, and that is Alexander Volkanovski is moving up to fight Islam Makhachev. The size is going to be an issue, I think. How much will size play into this fight? And is Alexander Volkanovski actually his toughest title defense? Or do you think it's one of the lightweights, the other lightweights that are actually there?
It's very difficult to say. I'm not sure he's the more toughest, but maybe the more challenging because of how smart Alexander Volkanovski is. I mean, he's a guy, everybody puts so much stock into size because we can visually see that. And it just kind of makes sense sometimes. When we see a bigger guy beating a smaller guy, we go, oh, it's because he's bigger. But that's not necessarily always the case. Sometimes they're just better. And I think Alexander Volkanovski is good enough strategically to be able to hang with a guy like Alexander Volkanovski to be able to offset any deficiency he has in size. Yeah. So I don't think size is going to be a big factor. I think maybe the grappling, how good of a grappler Islam is, may be the biggest difference. If he can get him down and hold him down, I think that's going to be the biggest difference. And people are going to say, oh, it's because he's bigger. No, he still has to make 155 the same way Alexander has to make 155.
For sure.
So I don't put any stock into that. I think it's skill, and that's what it is.
I'm going to have to remember you said that because I feel like that fight week, when we see those two standing next to each other, we're going to say, man, Islam is just so much bigger. But Dean Thomas is telling us don't trust that. The size is not going to be what dictates this fight.
Don't trust that. Sometimes speed is what counts.
That's true.
Speed and decision making is what counts even more than size.
It's been fun, man. It's been a fun week, been a fun night, UFC 283, and we got a whole year to look forward to. Keep coming back to ESPN MMA YouTube channel. For now, we will say goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.